It's just like if you go in Walmart and you see they're running things the way they're running them. Well, they had to start from somewhere, and they have those machines, which those machines are the same type of machines that you can use. There is not rocket science. Yeah. It's just plug and play, and it makes, there's software just for you.
Right.
So they need to understand that, and they don't need to be afraid. But if they are, that's where we come in.
Welcome to Clicks and Bricks Podcast. We talk about the entrepreneur mindset.
If you get one shot at this, what kind of shot are you going to take?
If we forget who we are, they're going to forget who you are.
And you've got an adversity story that's out of this world.
Everything from that Main Street brick and mortar to that billion-dollar manufacturer.
Welcome back to Clicks and Bricks. Today we're talking with William Elliott. He is a co-founder of Barcode and POS. How are you doing today, William?
Pretty good, Ken. Thank you so much for asking.
Had a lot of fun talking to you about your history a little bit before we started recording. Can you tell the audience a little bit about, where your background is and a little bit about your upbringing?
Cool. Primarily, I've been in the POS industry for over 20 years, without telling my age, right? And I started when cash registers was just cash registers, believe it or not. Since then, the industry has transformed from system computerized automation to cloud total automation. And this is where I come in. As a certified POS consultant, a product manager, and project management, as well as program management, which is my background, as well as my education. I have an MBA and all of that stuff, masters in project management, etc. But that's not really the key. The key is being able to assist and help customers. So therefore, we are poised to help the retailer and the business owner. Our focus each month is on a particular vertical to tell our customers, our clients, all about us and what we do for a better and overall internal and external customer, client, and vendors. So that's kind of where I want to focus today and talk a little bit about that. I want to make it more about the customer opposed to myself. So if that makes sense, I hope it does, Ken.
Absolutely. But we got to hear the why you're doing this business, right? This is Clicks and Bricks is about the why we're starting companies to inspire others to start their companies, right? So we got to know a little bit about, what you were doing before Barcode and POS and that transition story and leaving your old company and where you're at now.
Prior to 2017, I worked for a major consulting firm where we built a lot of custom programs. And I worked for Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies as a consultant working underneath our consulting firm. Some of the companies that I've worked for is McKesson and also Walmart, as well as Macy's, to name a few. Crown Craft, whereas we install a lot of systems. So we came together, some partners and I came together and decided we would offer this same type of solutions to the small to medium-sized businesses. And therefore, we started consulting, offering internet services, as well as network services, etc. And we grew that business. And then after we did that, we decided to venture off. And I took the helm on that as far as Barcode and POS. And since then, that's what I've been doing. And because I enjoy that type of customer base and client, this is where I'm at today.
I love that small and medium-sized business, mom and pop shops. I don't get me wrong. I love my Fortune 500 clients, right? But the paperwork and the bureaucracy and all the stuff that's required really shoots their price up. And I feel like some of the value of what I really do is lost because of the extra hurdles that you have to deal with in the Fortune 500 world, right? So those mom and pop shops, Main Street, and I just really love working with that, under 50 employees kind of company. It's really satisfying. I know what POS stands for, barcode and POS, point of sale system. Can you explain about the barcode and POS? What's the barcode piece of that, of your company, of why you need a barcode and point of sale?
Well, and that's a good question, because that's one I love answering, because a lot of people, they'll confuse it with just barcodes. And even, your CR codes today, people will actually call me and say, "Do you give us CR codes?" And I find it very humorous, but we can do that, but that's not really what we do.
Right.
We offer, so there's two parts of the business. Barcode, as you know, barcode scanners. And this is your large barcode scanners, your label printers, basically. And you've probably seen some of those. Right. And then you have the actual scanners. Let me give you an example of that. You walk in Walmart and you never pay attention, because all you're interested in is buying your product and getting out the door. Understandable. But if you do go to the self registers, you'll see there's a scanner. There's also a camera. There's something that's tallying your inventory. There's also information in the system itself is actually decreasing or decrementing in those items that are being sold. And that's all being transparent to the user, because that information goes to the back office accounting, which is generally an ERP. And then we have the CRM that's connected to it. And those acronyms are customer relationship management and your enterprise resource management.
Right.
So all that is the accounting and your sales force, right? It just keeps track of all of that.
Right.
So all of that happens. And since I understand that total process and been doing it for a while, and then we moved all of that to the cloud. And so we understand the big businesses. And we also, like you said, Ken, we still work with them, because some stores do grow and we still have to manage that process. But here's the deal with us and why we started this in the first place. We're here to help the business owner, the CEO, and the managers. And we generally look for clients, although we're not limited, we generally look for clients around $2 million. They're making money, but they're losing 20% because it's going out the door, either for extraneous errors, voids. We've seen some pretty strange things with clerks, but also just inventory, can't keep track of it. So we come in and offer a system, customized system that fits that customer need. So the bottom line is we want to assist the business, and we want to bring about to this CEO, to this manager, to this business owner, business automation. We understand it needs help in terms of the selection process. Again, as I mentioned, we've been around for about 20 years doing this kind of stuff. So we understand the transformation from the computerized automation to cloud total automation. So again, we have the expertise to bring that to bear. And we'd like to be able to sit down with our customers and offer them the best solution possible to fit their business.
Right. So a $2 million company in that realm. And I like that company because they're at a point to where they're over a lot of hurdles, right? They have some staff, they have some of those issues, but they're hopefully financially somewhat healthy, and putting some new resources and tools, Kanbans and things like that in a position could really, put the truck on the tracks for real good success, right? And then help them get to that next level. So that's owner of a single grocery store, maybe one, maybe two small restaurants kind of situation, right? That's
correct
in my head. Those kind of businesses, right? They've got some cash. They could use some automation in their world.
Correct.
Right. Which then saves them time, money, and energy, because they don't have spoilage. They know how much is leaving the door. I have a really good friend of mine who owns a Mediterranean grocery store. And I go to this grocery store every single day of my life. Right. Just about. Yeah. And he refuses to charge me. Right. And it's that kind of little grocery store, right? It's very home feel. It's hand butchered everything, very friendly environment. And in your position, you're going to these small $2-3 million shops that have the homegrown feel of, man, if I want to give something away, I want to be able to do that. And this point of sale system, it's going to restrict my ability to do business the way that I want to do it. What conversation do you have with that business owner?
Well, not necessarily, because what he can still offer these, what he called giveaways. There's several ways to do it, especially within the system. There's a thing called coupons, as we know. Then there's a thing of items that are just being put aside for special customers. And then in terms that you get special pricing, in your case, 0. But in terms of the system itself, he needs to also, even though he's given those items away, he needs to also understand that he needs to track those items. For instance, if he gave you, if he had 7 and he gave you 2, he needs to know that he's got 5 left that he can sell to his other customers. So that type of benefit is going to offer him the things he needs. Also, he can write that off within the accounting. So basically, a system, a point of sale system is this. As I mentioned, if you go to Walmart, you'll see, and that is truly what a point of sale system is. A lot of people, don't get that, but that's what happens. You have all of these peripherals that are tracking things, scanning things, printing things. So you have all of those. Those are what we do as well. We offer those. But then you have the software that is actually driving it. And that's the point of sale software, which is different, I say, from the accounting software. They must integrate, however. And this is what an ERP is. And you hear that term. So basically, then you have what we have not hit on is the credit card processing piece.
Right.
Some companies, such as the large companies, your Fortune 500 companies, they have their own credit card processing because it's a lot of revenue that's being made from the credit card industry. So what you have, all of those 3 components. So the credit card piece, which is credit card processing software that has to be also implemented. Then your accounting, and then the actual POS software that drives all of this.
Right.
Then, of course, we haven't talked about, we won't get into the operating system, regardless as to what that might be, that's going to be the foundation of driving all of this. But the end story here is just bringing all of this together and understanding. And so coming back to your particular owner, there are things that he needs to understand in terms of his accounting. He wants that to add up at the end of the day. And he could write those things off, and he needs to, because that's actually at the end of the day, that's revenue. That's a savings. Even though he's giving it away, that could show up as a savings.
Right.
So there's things that we could show him and offer him to know that he can sit at home, right? Or go to the Bahamas, right? And look at his store and still be able to flag you, Ken, even when he's not there. To say when Ken comes in, the clerk knows to hit a certain customer button, which says Ken get this price.
He gets his free Diet Coke every day.
Yeah, and they'll know that. But no one has to be there because they'll click in Ken's name on the system, and that'll know Ken's going to get the 0 price, whatever he decides. So that's why it's a good thing to have.
Yeah, I think in historically, a lot of software was written and processes and procedures get put into place, and some owners feel restricted. Like, this is my business. I can do whatever I want to do, and the software is not going to tell me what to do, right? We became business owners a little bit because we're rebels, right? We want to do it our way and not other people's way. But at the end of the day, if you're not tracking it, you don't know your numbers, you're not running a business at the end of the day, right? You've got a hobby, I guess, is what I would call it, if you don't know what your numbers are. But there's 1,000 other things he could do with that. Right now, I think he's probably writing it off as spillage or theft is probably what he's writing that off on some big bulk. But it could be a marketing expense, or it could be all kinds of different things if it was tracked properly.
Right.
But right now, it's just not tracked. I know it's not tracked because I know the guy. He's still on an old cash register, right? He's not automating anything. I tell him all the time, like, guy, we got to get this going, man. We got to help you out and get you in a better shape. He doesn't even have internet in his store. Right?
Well, yeah, and that's true. And not only spillage, as you mentioned, and that's something that could be reconciled because you're going to send that for instance, if an item's bad, you want to be able to send that to the manufacturer and be able to tell them why it's bad.
Right.
Your system will do that. The other area of customers like yourself, you could put those in a category, and categorize those particular types of products. Yes. So then I'll know that I'm not going to charge for certain products, but I can also mark those products up for other customers to make.
I always scratch my head at business owners that don't want to document stuff. Right? It's like, well, you're doing something different that I don't quite understand, but it's okay, right? I guess we all run our own businesses the way that we want to, but I think you would agree with me here that if you're going to run your business that way, I don't know how you're going to scale it. You're not going to get to 2 and 3 businesses, right? And you're always going to have to work there because you're always going to have something in your back of the head that that isn't going to translate to other people very easily.
Correct.
Right. And it's a big problem. So barcode and POS, we got to talk a little bit before the show. You were a partner at another firm and you left that firm to start barcode and POS. Is that with the same partners from the first firm or different partners or some different of both partners. Ways? Different partners.
Right. One came with me, of course. But we left the others in good standing. We love them and they love us. Right. We still, because we all have interest in what we do. So this was something that we knew that needed to happen, and we knew that we all could not do this together. So barcode and POS is basically a spinoff, but we acquisitioned it out so it could stand on its own. Okay. And we're excited about that because we're able to do so many things. With what we offer. So It's a wonderful thing.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like? You're a partner with an equity stake in the company and it's your full-time job. So you're a partner, you've got equity in the company and it's your full-time job and you're going to quit that job. But you still have equity, right? What does that look like on the back end of the business? You're still part of that company, right?
Well, no, not really. We have stocks.
Okay.
Right?
So different than if I bought stocks on E-Trade or something.
Exactly. It'd be no different, except it's a private company, but we own shares. So that's where our interest lies, and that's as far as it goes. So that's how that works. So we strictly, we broke off in a good way.
Right. So if that company grows and sells later, you'll have a cash event.
Exactly.
And if those owners decide, hey, we made a bunch of money this year, we're going to do a distribution, you're going to get your percentage of the distribution.
Correct.
But you don't have to work there every day.
No, and we don't. We just do what we do on this side.
Right. So you have no daily commitment. You have all the upside. And you do have some risk still, right? As a partner and an equity holder in the company, there could be a cash call.
Well, again, to separate that, all we do is own shares, and the risk is just like stocks on the stock exchange.
Right.
If the stock tanks, then our investment, we lose it.
Right.
So, but as far as being able to make decisions at the former company, we don't have that. Other than a stockholder, if the need be, but it'll be the same. So as if we had interest in IBM or Coca-Cola or anybody else, it's just shares.
Right. And the way I look at my privately held companies versus my publicly held companies is I can just sell my publicly held companies on the open market at will, and on the privately held companies, I have an operating agreement that determines how I'm able to sell those shares.
Correct.
Right.
That is correct.
And I might have to, I think the biggest one that I have is I have to offer them to the group first.
Right. And that is
the group has right of first refusal. And actually, I think if I'm going to sell outside the group, I have to have a 51% vote from the current shareholders if I want to bring in somebody and sell my shares to somebody outside the company. So selling those shares can be more challenging, or generally is more challenging than having public shares of companies. But it does, your shares have a definite impact on your personal financial statement.
Well, yes,
Right.
but it's like anything else. If you're going to do business, you're going to have certain risk. You're going to just do business, and you're going to have. There's some other. We have as far I'll speak for myself. We have other interest in other entities, and so it's just a thing. And to me, in order to really understand how this works, you have to be part of it.
Right. So there's a lot. Our show's for business owners, right? There's business owners at all stages of business, and you're in a pretty unique position to where you've had a couple of layers on top of this, where you're still have shares in another company. Are you still have a partnership in the other company, or like a board member or anything like that?
No, just shares. That was one of the stipulations starting this up, but they agreed not to be part of what we do, because I wanted to be able to make decisions about the direction. And so it was just shares.
Right.
And this is, will you settle, for this, and we agreed for this. So it just worked out for us. We're excited about it.
Right. Absolutely. I think it's a good move. And for the audience members that are thinking about, if you're in that position to where you're going to be exiting one company, starting another, and you got to make a decision if you're going to be on the board or if you're going to have shares, you're going to have any kind of, if you're going to maintain a board seat, my biggest advice there would be make sure that the company has D&O insurance, right? Because you have some more liability if you're going to be a partner or on the board there than if you're not, right? And if you're not an employee that can really push direction, then you're way off. The decisions can be made outside of your preview that really affect you in significant ways. So the D&O insurance is a big one that I like to make sure that if I'm on a board somewhere, that company has that to protect me from their decisions, right?
Correct.
So people don't know is that if you're part of a business, their decisions, even if you voted against them, you're liable for sometimes. So
I get it. I do get it. Yep. Yes.
So very, very good stuff. If somebody is out there, and so we've already talked about the $2 million company, right? In that range, but obviously that's not your limit, right? You can do Fortune 500 companies and, all kinds of stuff.
Correct. We're just saying that, for instance, we will entertain, and maybe the word entertain is not really a good word, especially for a business owner who really feels that he needs a point of sale system or a system that's going to get him to the next level. So someone that's at 250, in terms of if that's their gross revenue and they're really interested in growing, we will sit down with them and give them all the information for free that they need to make the next step.
Okay.
And we have lots of choices for them, from cloud-based to still brick and mortar applications, which brings up another point I'd like to point out too, because to me, there's always been, what is point of sale systems anyway? Well, there's three types. It's for the entrepreneur. The first type of a POS system is as one station, perhaps, or no stations, just a credit card machine. And you've probably seen that.
Yep.
Whereas that person, that's all he wants to do. That's his level. That may be where he wants to stay. But then you have the second type, which is going to be a medium type or a large scale chain store system with a cloud, software, iPads, PC, cash drawers, printers, scanners, etc. This is where we at. This is where Barcode can provide the best solution for you. So if you're interested in just just being the small entrepreneur, then we will leave you there and we will talk to you anyway, and we'll help you, because again, our goal is we provide and specialize in point of sale systems and solutions. Right. So we want to help the retailer, the restaurant owner, the business owner, to make the right solutions. We've even partnered with Thrive. I don't know if you.
I'm a Thrive partner.
Yeah, yep. A Thrive partner. So we we partnered with them so we could help this very small person that's just wanting to just do business that way, via his phone. And he's a service type individual. So we have that solution to offer that person.
Right.
And then on the other hand, we're also part of SAM. And, whereas we will contract with the government. We've been a member of SAM for 3 years, and we have all the bells and whistles to be able to jump right in with the RFPs, et cetera, et cetera. So we have that window of opportunity for any particular customer.
Okay.
And we
so
just
solopreneur all the way up to 100 store chain.
Correct.
And anywhere in between. Is there a certain number of products on my shelf that I should be thinking about before I need a POS system? Or if I have one product, the POS is for me?
If you have one product, then you would be the first type. You would be that particular type. Whereas if you just got one product, maybe all you need is just that one station or just a credit card machine. Yep. That would be what you would need. So that's what we would recommend.
I think those would be more service-based, right? I've got a massage. I've got a gym membership. One that I've owned in the past is Bounce House Company, right? They rent bounce houses and they just need a single button on the POS. But it had to be a mobile POS, right? Because they had to process the credit card at a customer's house.
Correct.
Right? So there's all kinds of solutions out there for every kind of business, from one product to a million products, right?
Correct. And so what we do, we help you find that solution, and we also help you through the process.
Okay, so you're not selling this is our software and you're going to fit into this box. You're consulting through the whole process, and you might use different pieces of software for different scenarios.
Correct. So we'll be right there for the full integration because there's so many vendors. We understand that. Now we have specific vendors that we would recommend because we have partnerships with them, such as HP, Dale,
right.
Things like that, Genico, Verifone. So we have relational partnerships with those. So yeah, we would recommend those, and naturally, and those vendors are very popular. So
right.
Yeah, we are going to be able to offer that, and customer trusts those type of vendors. They've seen them a long time.
Correct.
So we would make those recommendations depending on what the customer wants. But we will not, I say again, we will not gear the customer down and force them to make any solutions that they don't want. We will offer them a lot of items, or at least 3 types of solutions for them and let them choose. For instance, your business owner, that one that you frequent, he would have a choice. We would give him 3 solutions as to what's best for him, and then or customize something maybe off the shelf or something that he wants really just to work for him.
Wonderful. I love it. So solutions for everybody out there. Doesn't matter what size business you are. So really, Barcode and POS is a consulting and integration company for any size business to implement a barcode and POS system.
Correct.
This is not you wrote a system and you're selling that specific system. So you can really run with any kind of company in reality.
Correct.
Right. I'm familiar with Thrive. It's a great piece of software. It's wildly robust, right? It does a whole lot of stuff. So I think you're in good company there. If somebody's out there and they're watching the show and they wanted to get a hold of you, William, and work with you and your team, how would they find you?
Well, they can easily go on the internet, and that's the easiest one. But again, it's Barcode, and that's AND POS. If you're doing a search, just type in Barcode, AND POS, barcodeandpos.com.
Wonderful.
And that will take you to the internet. And of course, we're all about all of it: the Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how you can get a hold of us. And then, or just type in or do a search on Barcode, which is ampersand, POS, and then it'll also come up. It'll bring you right there to it. So
Wonderful.
without having to give you a whole lot of.
And we'll throw the links here, direct links at the bottom, at the footnotes of the show, so that you can just click and go right there and learn more about William, his team, and the services that they offer to the small and medium-sized business community. William, do you have anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we go?
Well, I want to thank the audience first of all, and Ken, thank you, because I know that we're wanting to also give information to the business owner,
right?
And because they also could be making a transition in terms of improving and making their business more enterprised.
Hopefully.
So I want to thank them, and I want to be able to share information with them. And you brought out the piece about transitioning from one company to another. I'm sure there's a lot of business owners that have done that. And I appreciate the information you were sharing too, because that also helps. And of course, the client and the customer, you are always welcome to talk to us and ask us whatever it is that you think you're getting ready to do.
Right. And you don't charge for that first call, right? They just call and have a conversation, say, hey, this is what I got going on. What would you recommend? And
correct.
You would make that recommendation at no charge. And then where you're going to make your money is if they say, hey, I really like working with you. Will you implement this for us? Correct.
Or they may say, well, I'm not ready, but one of my friends are.
Right.
We have training materials on our website for YouTube, and it tells from the start. It tells what barcode scanners are, barcode printers.
Right. Talks
about the software, all the things that I talked about. We have training information on our video YouTube website.
If you're out there and you don't have a POS, you've got 10 or 20 or more products on your shelves, and you're still running off a cash register. I've implemented some of these before. It's not my jam. It's not easy to go through this process and get everything barcoded and set up all that process and get it all into the system. I've been building websites for over 20 years. It's not something I enjoy doing, right? It's very tedious work. So I can't imagine anybody that started a business that's like, I love doing this barcode and POS stuff. Outsource that job so that it's done right. It's just, it's important stuff, and we don't like doing it. So we need to have, a lot of us don't like doing it. We need to hire the people that do like doing it to do it right for us, get us set up. And having automated ordering, having automated low inventory system, having, all those tools, it really opens your business up for growth, man. The grocery store clerk that's still the grocery store owner or the gas station owner that's still doing, manual inventory to find out if he's low on Snicker bars is just mind-boggling to me. There's no reason to be out of this stuff.
Right. And that's true. And a lot of people, believe it or not, are using Excel spreadsheets.
Yes.
Yeah. And, they're using their little calculator and Excel spreadsheet.
But at least they're doing that. There's a lot of business owners that are out there just using their gut. Right. I think sometimes they're scared to look at the bank account, look at the inventory, and look at all the stuff. It's just scary numbers sometimes. But when you can paint the whole picture, it really changes the game, and it lets you. It does. It straightens your arrows, right? You're kind of running with wobbly arrows. Then you can't shoot your target very well.
It's kind of like, it's one of those things, and I know you've heard this. It's kind of like some of the business owners need to visualize where they want to be. Right?
Yes.
Where's your end goal? It's just like if you go in Walmart and you see they're running things the way they're running them. Well, they had to start from somewhere, and they have those machines, which those machines are the same type of machines that you can use. There's not rocket science. No, it's just plug and play, and it makes, there's software just for you.
Right.
So they need to understand that, and they don't need to be afraid. But if they are, that's where we come in. We'll make life easy.
And the onboarding is hard. There's no doubt about getting to the POS system. That's a challenge. Getting barcodes the first time is challenging. Once that's all done, life is so much better.
Correct. And believe now it's not that hard, because if you are using an Excel spreadsheet and you've got some items up, we can integrate those very quickly. Just upload them and you're good to go.
Right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it, William. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate it as well.
You have a great day.
You too, sir. Take care.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Clicks and Bricks. Get to work.